Hello and thanks for watching. Today I am taking a look at a game called Dream Home, along with its expansion. This is basically a pretty light sort of family or casual style game, card game essentially about building your dream home. It's for 2 to 4 players, 5 or 6 with the expansion. It's a very straightforward game, but it has a lot of fun aspects to it. I want to show you how the game works, and then we'll come back here and I'll give you my thoughts on it. In Dream Home, you have a central board like this with some cards laid out on it at the beginning, and each player is going to get their home board. You're going to be filling up this board with cards that represent the rooms in your dream home. The central board serves to display the cards that you can choose from in order to fill up your house, and I'll show you basically how that works. So one player is going to have this token. The youngest player gets this at the beginning of the game. This is the first player token, so each round the first player is going to take their turn first, and they are going to choose one column from these 5 columns on the main board, and they're going to take both cards from that column. The top row is a column of resource cards. You have roof cards, which you're going to use to build your house's roof. You have decor cards, which let you add decor to your rooms. You have helper cards, which can help you out with in various ways throughout the game. And you have tool cards, which are kind of a variant on the helpers. They help you out during the game. You also have this row, which are your room cards. So you're going to choose one column. Let's say, for example, you go with this column. You're going to take both of these cards. So you will be getting a room card, which you will immediately add to your house. You can place it on any spot on your house with a few restrictions. So there cannot be an empty space below the room. So for example, we couldn't put this here with this empty space in the basement underneath it. We couldn't put it up here with an empty space below it. But to begin with, we could put it anywhere on these 3 spaces. We can't put it in the basement because only cards with their title and scoring information on the top of the card here go in the basement. So there's certain rooms that can only go in the basement, and then everything else has to go above the basement. All right, so you're going to put it wherever you like. And in the case of the roof card, you're going to put it in a little spot here where you keep all your roof cards till the end of the game. Once you've put it there, you can't look at it. You're supposed to try to kind of remember what roof cards you've collected for scoring purposes. So that's basically what you do. You choose 2 cards. You'd put them, like the room you'd put is somewhere on the house. The roof you would put there. If you grab a helper or a tool, you just keep them off to the side to use when you need to. If you choose a decor, you're immediately going to search through this pile of decor tokens for the matching decor. So like here's the piano, we have the piano. It tells you place this piano token on a living room card. So we'd want to look for a living room card somewhere in our house. Right now we don't have any, so in that case we would just discard the token that was wasted. But if we had, for example, this card in our house, we could put the piano on that card, and now we have the piano in our house, which is going to be worth an extra 3 points at the end of the game. It also finishes that room. I'll explain what finishing a room means in a little bit. But first, I just want to iterate that what you're doing is you're choosing a column of cards. You're taking those cards. You're doing what you will with them. Each player goes through taking a column of cards. If there are any cards left over, you clear all the cards that were left over, discarding them into a discard pile, and then you bring out new cards to replace them and start a new round. As you can see on the top row, you don't have 5 cards, you only have 4. So if somebody decides to take the leftmost column here, this is a reminder that they get the 1 room and they get the first player token to make them the first player on the following rounds until somebody else takes it from them. So that's basically what you're doing. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit about how you're filling this up. You're filling it up with these cards. So, for example, you might want to put a garage piece there. And let's see if we can find another garage card. Yeah, here we go. So you might get another garage card to fill that in, right? So we filled in our basement there with those. Up here, we're going to be building some other things. We're going to put maybe another living room card next to our existing living room. So that's expanding our living room out. We'll throw another one in there as well, making our living room really nice and spacious. We're going to put a bedroom upstairs. We'll make it a nice sized bedroom. 2 beds in there. It's for the kids. We'll put a bathroom next to that bedroom for convenience. We're going to go ahead and throw in this, let's see, a kitchen. We just got a small kitchen because we want to squeeze in another bathroom next to it. And we're going to put a sauna next to that upstairs bathroom. And finally finish it off with a library. So here we go. Here's our finished house. At the end of the game, what we're going to do is we're going to score based on what we have in our house and a few other things. So first of all, we're going to look at the values of these rooms. So this right here is a complete room. Let's just say we threw that piano in there too, just to make it extra nice. So this is a finished room. It was finished as soon as we put the piano in it. But otherwise, a room is finished when it meets its maximum size. So as you can see here, the bedroom has a 1 card with the number 1 in it. It also has a depiction of 2 cards with the number 4 on one of them. So that's telling us that a bedroom can be at most 2 cards in size. So once you have 2 cards together of that bedroom type, that bedroom is finished. You couldn't put a 3rd bedroom here. Although if you wanted, you could put a 3rd bedroom, like say over here somewhere. You can have 2 bedrooms in the house. It just can't be next to your existing bedroom cards because you can't expand this bedroom beyond 2 cards. All right. So we're going to be looking to see, okay, this bedroom got to be 2 cards, so it's worth that second amount, 4 points. The bathroom is worth 1 point. The library is worth 2 points. The kitchen is worth 1 point if it's 1 card, 6 points if it's 2 cards. We only got it to 1 card. It's a small kitchen, so it's only worth the 1 point, not the 6. The living room, as you can see, 1 card would be worth 1 point. 2 cards would be worth 4 points. 3 cards is worth 9 points. We did get the 3 cards, so that's 9 points. The piano is worth an extra 3, so that is a 12-point living room. The garage down here is worth 0 points if it was just 1 card, but with 2 cards, it's worth 4 points. So we're going to add up all those points for all those rooms. The sauna is a special case. It's worth 1 point on its own, but it's worth 3 if it's next to a bathroom, which it is. So that's 3 points for the sauna. All right, so we're adding up all those. Then we're going to see if we gave our house a good roof. So we've been collecting these roof cards and we're stacking them down here and trying to remember what they are. So at the end, you're going to pick up this stack of cards. We'll just add a handful of extra roof cards to this stack. So you're going to pick up these cards, you're going to flip them over, you're going to look through this, and you're going to try and pick out 4 roof cards to make up your roof. So we'll do that. We'll grab these 3 here. And there we go. That'll be our 4th. All right, so there's our roof. Sits on top of our house pretty nicely. And if we have a complete roof of 4 cards, that's another 3 points at the end of the game. If they were all the same type of roof, that'd be another 5 points for a total of 8 points for the roof. And you have some roof cards. Let me see if I can find one just to give you an example. Here we go. You have some roof cards with a window. So if you happen to have a window in there on a completed roof, that's worth an extra point. All right. So you're doing that. And then there's basically 2 more things we're going to look at. You have your home functionality, which is basically looking at, do you have a bathroom on each of the top 2 floors? We do. So that's an extra 3 points. And do you have both a bathroom, a kitchen, and a bedroom somewhere in the house? We have the bedroom We have 2 bathrooms, so we're good on bathrooms, and we have a small but functional kitchen. So that's another 3 points for having the bathroom, the bedroom, and the kitchen. So we've done all of that. That gives us a couple of, or 6 extra points in total. We add up all those points. If we have more points than everyone else, we have won the game. Now I want to show you a little bit about the expansion because I think the expansion adds some neat things to the game without making it overly complicated. It does add some more, just some more room cards and some more resource cards so that you can play with more people. And since I'm mentioning it, let me go ahead and show you a little bit. I explained how the roof works. I explained how the decor works. The helper cards are things like this handyman who says at the end of the game, before scoring, you may switch 2 room cards on your board. So for example, you might decide at the end of the game, let's switch this kitchen. Well, let me give you a better example. All right, let's say we didn't have this here. Instead, we had the library there, and we had another living room up here. And at the end of the game, well, obviously, it doesn't really matter where the library is. If we have this living room next to these living room cards, that's going to be worth more points than just having a second little living room off to the side. So we might use our handyman to swap those, and that would be a good use of that card. There's a variety of these helpers. They all do little functional things like that. You also have tools like this drill, for example, which says before you take cards, discard this card to switch 1 room card on your home board with 1 room card on the game board. So for example, let's say we hadn't got that 3rd living room yet. This library was down here, and this was the setup up here. We could use this drill to say, well, I'll switch this library with this living room. All right, that gets me the living room I want. Maybe I'll grab that library again on my turn, or maybe I'll leave it for someone else and grab, some other card. But that's the kind of functionality that tool cards have. All right, so that's basically what you're looking at with that. Now back to the expansion. So it adds a little extension to this board. It adds, more cards of both types, so you can play with 5 or 6 players. But my favorite thing about the expansion is that instead of having the simple rule where you get an extra 3 points if you have a bathroom on each of the top 2 floors, and you get another 3 points if you have a bedroom, a kitchen, and a bathroom. Instead of that, they have these house plans. So you have 2 different kinds. You have some 3-pointers and some 5-pointers. You shuffle these up individually, and you give a 3-point card and a 5-point card to each player. These are going to specify specific things you're aiming for instead of the 2 options that are just, the assumption in the base game. So like, for example, here, 3 points if you have 2 playrooms in your house, or 5 points if you have a 1-card or 2-card living room on the 1st and 2nd floor. All right, so those are different types of functionalities that you're aiming for instead of just the base. And there's a good variety of them. So I like this. You give a 3-point and a 5-point to each player. You don't get to score both. You get one or the other. So you're going to try and aim for the 5-point one because it'll be worth the most points. But if you can't get that, you can still score the 3-point one. Maybe it'll be a little bit easier to score. Maybe you can work that out. So I like that. It gives everybody something a little bit different that they're angling for. The other thing that the expansion adds that's kind of neat, not quite as cool as that, but it's pretty neat, is you have these visitor cards. So at the beginning of the game, you're going to have some of these out on the table. And then at any point after a person places a room in their house, they can claim a visitor if they meet the criteria for it. So let me see if there's okay, here's a simple one. This older couple, they want to visit your house if you have a living room and a bathroom on the same floor. I have a living room and a bathroom on the same floor, so maybe after I place this card, I meet that criteria. I can claim these guys. I'm just going to tuck them under my board like so. They're going to be worth an extra point at the end of the game. You can do that once for each floor. So like here we go. This person wants a bedroom and a bathroom on the same floor. I've got that on this top floor. Tuck that in there. That's another point at the end of the game. So just gives you a few different ways to score at the end of the game, kind of different things to work towards as you're laying out your house. Now, again, before I cut away and give you my final thoughts, I do want to highlight just how lovely the art is in this game. I don't know how well you can see this on camera, but there's just a lot of detail in this card. There's not a lot of information on this card, really. You have the name of the type of room. You have the color border down here that corresponds to the type of room it is. You have how many points it's worth and how many cards in total it can be. But easily, 90% of this card is just this beautiful illustration. And the illustrations are all really nice. They're all really detailed. That's a really nice aspect of the game. So that's a pretty good overview of the game, I think. Let's go back up top and I will give you my thoughts on it. All right, well, hopefully that gives you a pretty good overview of how the game works along with its expansion. I'm going to just start out by saying it is a really nice game. It's a lovely game. It's fun to play. This is the kind of game where I tend to not be super concerned about whether I win games or not. I just enjoy playing them. As long as the game is fun, it doesn't matter to me too much if I win. But this game, more than any, is a game where it's just a delight to play, whether or not you win or lose, okay? So for that reason, I think it's a really nice game to bring out with, maybe more casual gamers, people who aren't really involved in board games, don't have a lot of breadth of experience with board games. It's a nice game for younger players as well because it's very simple and approachable. And it's just a game where it's like either way, win or lose, you have this really nice, pretty looking house in front of you. I think it's really interesting, the theme of the game. It's an original theme. I have never seen anything else that tackles this particular theme, so I like that. But I think it's really interesting how the game really captures the theme very well in the sense that there is a functionality aspect of it, right? If you can squeeze a larger living room into your house, that's worth more points. If you have like in the base game, a bathroom on each floor, that's worth more points. If you have a bedroom, a bathroom, and a kitchen in your house, that's worth extra points. Even with the expansion, when they kind of switch that up and have different types of functionality that you're aiming for with those functionality cards, it's still stuff that makes sense, like having a living room on the first and second floor. Yeah, maybe. Having 2 playrooms, yeah. If you have a lot of kids, maybe 2 playrooms is something you would be aiming for in designing your house. And that's, to me, that's very realistic because in designing a house, if I was able to sit down with an architect and have him draw up plans for a custom house for me, there'd be certain things where I'd say, okay, I need this and that and the other. And so if you can't draw me a plan that includes those rooms, perhaps in these locations, then it's just not going to be good enough for me, Or the closer you can get to what I need, the more satisfied I'm going to be with the house. So that's reflected in the rules of the game. But also another aspect of, just kind of this whole concept of a dream home, at least for me, when I think about what my dream home would be, is just the way that it looks, the decor of it, right? When I think about my ideal living room, I'm not just thinking about square footage and that kind of thing. I'm thinking about, how I would decorate it. And so that really comes across in your choice of the art in the game, right? So for example, you have 2 bathrooms, right? These are both essentially the same card from a mechanical standpoint, each worth 1 point, each have the same rules for where you can place them, where you can't place them, how you can use them, how they score, but they look really different. If I have my choice, I'd rather grab this one because it just looks awesome to me, but maybe this one would appeal more to you. So there's that element to it as well, where just the art in the game and the way that the art is almost separate from the rules, like it has no bearing on the rules, but it still has that aesthetic appeal also reflects the way that I think about a dream home in real life. So I think that's really neat. It's pretty cool. I don't know, like how much that was the intention of the designer or the producer of the game, or how much is just coincidence or my perception of things. But I think that's a really neat aspect of this game. So it's very cool. And then again, also like you have these standalone rooms. You have a study, game room, and a library. They're all worth 2 points. They all work essentially the same way as far as the rules are concerned. But of course, if I had my choice, I'm going to try and get that game room in the house because as a gamer, I would love to have a game room in my house. So, it's just pretty neat. There's also little things where it's like, I like how the game can make you feel rewarded even if you aren't the winner. Like you have that beautiful house in front of you at the end. And like I set my own little goals for myself. Like here's this bedroom. As you can see, maybe you can see it here. There's a little cat lounging on the bed there. And there are numerous cats throughout the different cards. And so like one game I was just like, I'm going to get as many cats in my house as I can because I love cats. So I'll do that. And at the end of the game, I had like 6 or 7 cats in my house, and I felt good about that. I don't even remember what my score was or whether I won or lost, but the game was just satisfying because you can do those kinds of things. And it's such a light game, that it feels fine to do that and just enjoy the game that way. So the base game is fine. I do like the expansion for having it basically give you those variable scoring requirements between the layouts and the visitors. Those two things are a pretty cool addition. Adding a 5th or 6th player does slow the game down a little bit, but I don't think it's a big problem. And overall, I think it's a good expansion too. So definitely recommend the game if you really enjoy the game. If you want that little extra nuance to it, the expansion is pretty cool. But that is Dream Home. Again, my name is Nathan. You're watching Nice at Dice. Thank you so much for watching, and you enjoy the rest of your day.